Coach, thank you very much for doing this. First of all, I observed you go through the routine with the players and all that. You train for what, close to 3 hours. Is that typical of your routines?
Not, it is not. But then today is midweek, so per our approach, we started from a low intensity to a medium intensity. So if you look at the cycle of training, we are in the middle of the week, so we need to load them so that as we get closer to the match, we try to taper, try to calm down. So it was basically an extensive training, and it was in phases. It was a tactical work. We needed to make sure that each phase within the tactical process was very consolidated. What we wanted to see, what we wanted them to do, we saw them because we had already engaged them in a video session. So an animation supported by a video of the particular movement. So we wanted to see that because we believe that they are very intelligent and they have the competence to be able to do it. So that was why it took us some time. But then if you also realize we did a lot of freezing, we stopped the training if there was a moment where we thought that it was not correct. We stopped it to make sure that the right thing was done. Again, we also stopped to make sure that we praise them, because it's not always about correcting them. Sometimes you need to also applaud them for doing the right thing. And you know, they are so intelligent that they are able to improvise. So sometimes what we even told them, they didn't do it, but then they improvise, they connect, or they combine, and then we get what we want. So that's why it was an extensive session.
The, I came here many years ago. I can't remember, to be honest with you. And I used to watch House of Folk training and that sort of thing. And the thing that amazes me is how the whole system has changed. So this is not just you and an assistant coach or a goalkeeper's trainer. I see two video analysts. I see the guy who's doing your YouTube for you. I see somebody who's working on set pieces. I see how much has coaching changed over the last few years, and how much work do you have to put in these days?
It has changed a lot because there are so many compartments or components within the game. The analysts will give you videos or will tell you things that you think are the strengths and weaknesses of your own team, and the strengths and the weaknesses of the opponent. So based on our strengths and weaknesses, we try to train to improve upon the weaknesses and then try to consolidate that of the strength. Similarly, if we get any intel about the opponent, about their weaknesses, we try to do a tactical rehearsal about that, so that should we go and it happens as we have been told, we take advantage of that and then punish them. And then we try also to make sure that we nullify the strength of the opponent. So that's why you see the video guys around. They are two and they are doing a good job. Normally in tactical training phases, you see that some of the players will be waiting, and we have what we call time on task. Time on task. We need to make sure that we make good use of them. So we have what we call the adaptation group. So those who are not part of the main session, you try to create something for them to get them active, so that when it is their turn to come and fit into the tactical session, when they come, in terms of their temperature, they are already there to be able to do what you want. So that was why you saw one of the assistants also with them on the other side trying to do some goal scoring, passive goal scoring drills. And then you saw one of the assistants too on the other side. So we stood that way just to make sure that we have independent opinions. So sometimes he will cross-field to come to me to tell me what he has observed. But I do a lot of cooperative coaching where my assistants can stand anywhere and also freeze the game and do the correction. It's not only about me, it's about the team. So at the beginning of every season, I tell the players this, that it's not only me who can talk, all my assistants can also talk. So everywhere I've coached, that has been my style, the cooperative coaching style. And then coaching has changed a lot because if you look at the trends, the modern trends in coaching, you need a lot of people on board, a lot of ideas. You need people who make sure that the players are physically fit. So we have the fitness coach, then we have, goal scoring coaches, we have defending or defenders coaches. All these people and the rest that I'm yet to mention, all these people come together to complement the work of the head coach. So all that you, the head coach, you have to do is to make sure that you get the right people, the knowledge base is there, the competence is there in terms of their ability to execute. And then you need people who are very loyal, very insightful, and very honest. I mean, they can tell you that, coach, this is wrong and this is right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it becomes difficult even for you, the head coach, to pick one out of three players who are at the same level
Yeah.
for a game. And when you have people who are honest around you, they try to help you in taking the right decision.
The I remember you spent some time in Cape Coast. Then they played one game in the season. Then you had to rest this weekend and all. How good was the Cape Coast getaway in getting you ready for the season?
Very good. I was excited. We spent close to 3 weeks in Cape Coast, which was very good. First, we had to settle down in terms of adaptation because it was a different environment. We had a nice hotel. I mean, the food was good. Everything was fine there. And then straight away, because we started from here, we knew where we were going to. So for the 3 weeks that we were there, we tried to do every phase of the pyramid of training: the physical component, the technical component, the tactical component, the theoretical component. We did them a lot. We made sure that we took them to what I would call the lecture theater, the conference room, to tell them what we wanted, how we want them to play. You see, this man once said something, Clemens Westerhoff, when he was with Nigeria, the was it the Olympic team? He won the Olympic gold medal. Yeah. He was asked that how did he manage the team to play the way they played, and he said he dreamt of how he wanted the team to play. So based on that, he selected the players who suit into his style of play. So what I'm trying to let you understand is that we have a picture of how we want to play, and we painted this picture to the players verbally and then through videos. We've painted it to them for them to understand how our structure should be defensively and how our structure should be offensively. So we have a structure or a framework which we need to operate. So within the structure, there are guidelines or principles within the structure. When we have the ball, there are guidelines or principles that they need to follow. And then when we don't have the ball, there are guidelines or principles that they need to follow. So this is the picture we have painted through video sessions and through training. So as we keep doing it, we are hoping and praying that with time it becomes automatic, it becomes motoric. They should be able to do it without thinking about it. So going to Cape Coast, the 3 weeks gave us the opportunity to practice all these things that I've just described. And I think it was worth it going to Cape Coast. We had fun. We had a lot of, good interactions. The new players and the old players trying to interact with each other, to get to know each other, so that socially, emotionally, physically, they can give each other the needed support to settle into the team as a person and to settle into a team as a very good player.
So you spend that much time there as a coach and a technical team. At what point do you begin to feel like, oh, that preseason training is beginning to tell, the impact is on? Because first week of games, second, third week, when do you begin to realize that?
I think from the fourth, fifth week going, depending on the quality of the players and depending on how much has been put into the preseason, you'll be able to sometimes even the third game you begin to see it. But then I'm giving myself the fifth week because I think that we need to take it gradual, step by step, to make sure that they are able to do the right things. So I believe that from the fifth week going, we should be able to get into the flow zone. Because currently, I think we have a lot of balance, we have a lot of stability in the team, and this balance and stability is also complemented with a lot of creativity in the team. So once you have balance in your team, the team is stable, and players can think out of the box. Out of the box means players can think out of the game model, improvise and do certain things to make sure that we stay well structured offensively and defensively and get the results. I think that's the best thing. So at the moment, I think that is good for us.
What's your big target this season? What would represent success for you for Asante Kotoko this time?
I think it's about two things. As traditionally or typically of Asante Kotoko, it's all about winning. Even if you don't play well, they want you to win. But then I think that we need to also ensure that we give them a lot of fun by playing good, attractive, appealing football. So I'm looking at the performance component and the result component. So I've been telling them that they need to play. I mean, we need to be confident with and without the ball and express ourselves on the field. So I want the situation, or we are training them in a way that even on a bad day, if you have the eyes to watch very good football, you can tell that, oh, these boys did well. Probably they were not lucky. So I want the team to play well, very exciting, appealing, attractive football, and at the same time to be able to win. Because the ultimate, if you coach Kumasi Asante Kotoko, is to win games and eventually win championships or trophies.
Well, I mean, I was remarking to the driver, the team driver,
Baba,
how it was curious to me that even this far out from the city center, there are still people who come to the training grounds to watch your team train every day. You understand what this club means to the people in this city.
a lot, and that's even good for everyone who comes here as a coach, because people come to watch. So if you don't plan, if you don't structure your training before you come, and you just come and decide to do anything, I mean, you'll be caught by the fans. Because remember, those who come to watch, they may not be coaches, but they've been watching football over the period. Some are even players, former players. Some are even recreational players, so they understand the game. I mean, there are basic things that, with all due respect, the ordinary fan will be able to tell that this was wrong or this was right. So it tells you, the coach or the coaching staff, that you must always be on your feet. You need to meet as a team, plan your session, look at the different variations within the session, and what can be done to make sure that at the end of the day, the session is interesting. Like you said, I mean, they come all the way from Tafu, far places to come and watch. So when they come to your training grounds, you need to make sure that you give them the content that fits the standard and the caliber of Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
Then the worry for somebody like you, the CAF president said this week that nations that do not play games on their own turf cannot develop. And so to sort of localize that example, you are in a city that adores its football, and then all of a sudden, well, primarily by your doing, because you don't have your own facilities and the rest, you still have to travel a considerable distance to Obuasi to go and play. How much of a blow is it for you that you're having to uproot yourself from your traditional home, away from what's normally the base where the fans would have loved to? Does that factor in your planning as a coach in any way?
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one in the sense that, one, we have the 12th player, which is the fan, and then two, if you look at the way we played at Narerugu against Karela, we played well, we won. So they are all expectant to come and watch the team. So if we were to play in front of our own fans, I think, one, it was going to give us the number 12 player, which is the fan, to give us the confidence to be able to play well and then win. But then, even though we are going to Obuasi, I know the typical Kotoko supporter who really loves Kotoko will travel and come to Obuasi. And mind you, or just as a reminder, and I think you know it already, if we go to Obuasi and we do well, still these supporters will travel and come there. They don't care about the distance. Once Kotoko is playing well and Kotoko is winning, wherever you take Kotoko to, our supporters will come. But then, if we were to have our own, if we were to play here, or we were to have our own stadium and were to play there, when it comes to revenue generation, most of the revenue that will be accrued will come to us. But then here is the case that I'm very sure where we are going to, definitely, if we were to play here, would have had more numbers than if playing at Obuasi.
So I look at you, and then I look at Hasselfolk, and then I look at Dreams FC, Accra Lions. I look at a lot of clubs who are having to make adjustments to where they play and all that. Do you worry that these sort of things goes to sort of disrupt a certain flow that the Ghana Premier League wants to build. This is a league that wants to be taken serious. This is a league that competes with other leagues that have supreme facilities, excellent television exposure. Are you worried that this kind of uncertainty drags the Ghana Premier League back a bit?
Yes, I think so. I think so because you have to always be on the move. Today, you are on this venue. The next time, you have to go to a different place, maybe because of, the venue not meeting a particular standard. So, when it happens that way, it affects, as you said, the flow of the team in terms of adaptation. Because today you are here, the next moment you have to move to a different venue, which is not good. But the more the players play on a particular pitch as their home grounds for a period, it gives them that confidence because they can have a mental picture of how the crowd is going to be at any point in time. So they know how to mentally adjust themselves before they come into the game. But then when you move from one venue to the other, it will take time for them to adapt in terms of the crowd, in terms of the spectating. It will take time for them to adjust. So the moment they begin to settle in, then probably something crops up and they have to move. And don't forget, sometimes too, the distance is an issue.
Yeah.
And the type of buses that we use in Ghana are not football or sports related buses. The buses, the Madras and what have you use are different from what we use here. The distances, your knee and what have you. So traveling from venue to venue because of issues, you have to change your home grounds. I think it's not the best for our league.
But you want to make the most of the situation, and I saw the intensity of the training, the everything that happened. So you want to win the league, but this is also a league that seems to have changed in dynamics a bit. In the past, I would have been building up to a Ghana Premier League season, and my whole focus is on Jones Atukwefio and what he would do with us. And then I focus on what Kotoko would do, and maybe when Samade was there or Afrani and that sort of thing. But now you've got to think of Mediema, you've got to factor in Adriana Stars. Samatex have built a whole fortress in Samra Boy through Dr. Nsechi and the rest. How much has the Ghana football scene changed? Because I know you started your career when it used to be in quote a two-club system, and all of a sudden everything has completely changed.
Yeah, it has changed because most of the clubs now in the system are owned by individuals who are ready to pump a lot of money into recruitment, into making sure that welfare of the players are met, are up to standard. Unlike hitherto, where it was only Kotoko and Haas that looked so attractive that everybody wanted to play Kotoko and Haas, even though it's still there. That it looks attractive. Yeah. But then, if you look at the other clubs like Samates and Co, they've also tried to make sure that the welfare of the players are catered very well. And as a player, you would always want to make sure that your welfare is paramount. So once these clubs are doing the things that hitherto the Kotoko and the Haas were doing, now they are doing it and probably equaling it. It means that it gives every club equal and known chance of scouting for the same player that Kotoko and Haas hitherto were scouting for. So now you see Kotoko and other clubs chasing a player, and sometimes Kotoko losing out on that player. But previously, the story wasn't like that. Way, yeah. Now Kotoko will lose out on that player, and then that club will rather get the player. So I think the structure now in terms of running clubs in Ghana have really changed, and it's also because most of these clubs also have the intent of making sure that they also build a name for themselves. Mm-hmm. So they go deep down into what is it that Kotoko is doing, what is it that Haas is doing that is making them who they are. So they learn from the structures of these two clubs and also try to make sure they equal it or even do better. Yeah. So that is why the structure of the Ghana Premier League in terms of its competition and the results have changed.